Hey, this video is going to be my time as a Charles Carroll moderator, and basically fuck Charles. Charles is not a good person, okay? I'm going to try to say this as calmly as I can and talk about my story, and it doesn't matter if people believe me or not, or they watch this or not. What matters is that there is justice that's going to come to this person, and it's going to be brought to them because of what they did or the people around them did to me, how they treated me, and so on. I made some videos complaining about Charles before, and I'm gonna keep complaining about him because I think people should wake up to the fact that this person is not who they appear to be. So about like six or 7 years ago, I don't even remember, around that time frame, right, I came up with this idea of authentic human programming. And what I wanted to do is make videos about different topics, which I'm still going to do, and just talk about them. I've listened to thousands of hours of lectures growing up about different things, particularly like Manly P. Hall lectures, Jiddu Krishnamurti talks, UG Krishnamurti talks. I've been spending so much of my life just listening to lectures, trying to develop a spiritual understanding of life. Okay? And I wanted to make a channel that was basically like correspondence with viewers and fans, where it's like the people that I love and adore, the people that I just named, they do what I want to do as I grow into an older man, which is be like a public speaker or be someone who says or talks about things that help people put their lives and the circumstances that they find themselves in into perspective. Okay? I went to the MDE community and I went to Charles community 6 years ago, okay? And I was made a moderator in their community. All right, so I'm just going to start off from the beginning. I went to hang out in Charles's Twitch streams when he first started streaming. And I was approached by some people who he made moderators, which is like Tyler Steadfast, who doesn't have a channel on Twitch anymore. But I was invited to use the app Discord, which I absolutely hate because it allowed this to happen to me. But I went to Tyler Steadfast's Discord, and I wanted to be involved with Charles and his community, particularly because I don't know what to do with my life, right? And when I saw on his Bombstrap Patreon that he was trying to make a production office / commune with his goal, right? I was hoping that I would be invited, or I would ask them if I could join and participate, because all I really want to do in life is live a very simple life, where it's like I'm working on a farm, not worrying about what's going on in the world, with people who are just there to participate in a sedentary lifestyle, right? But this guy Tyler Steadfast invites me to a Discord that I hang in and around for about a year, maybe a little less. And at the time, I wasn't aware, or I didn't think about how people would use the information that I give them about myself and my goals against me, or use my own ambition to fuel their own ambition, and I inspire them without them giving me any mention, right, or any kind of I don't know, like credit, right? Any kind of like personal credit, like, hey, like, you want to make this channel, and it kind of inspired me to be a better person, that kind of thing, or it inspired me to incorporate that into, what I'm going to put forth on the internet as far as content or anything. But so I'm hanging around these people for about, I don't know, like a half a year to a year, and I'm telling them all my ambitions, right? And then eventually I meet up with one in what's that New York City, Syracuse, right? Some guy that was part of that invited me out to Syracuse. I went and spent the day with him. We hung out, went to a bar, played pool. We talked about Orthodox Christianity, UG Krishnamurti. He told me, this guy Troy, he told me that he had an uncle or some family member that met UG Krishnamurti or something. I don't know. It was just an interesting time. But I'm just trying to say, like, my commitment or my enthusiasm, right, to just go and meet some stranger, it's like, I'm just trying to paint the picture here. So I hang out with these people in Discord, and they all, like, some of the people in there become mods for Charles Carrols community. So basically, in retrospect, it's like I was invited to this Discord for these people that Charles knew, right, or was in contact with, or even there were lurkers in that Discord that never even spoke, that were like paying attention to me and spying on me and spying on my ambitions and my goals and what I wanted to do with the channel Authentic Human Programming. And people that I probably wouldn't even know, I don't even know, right? But they're watching me, right? And they listen to what I'm saying, and they use what I'm saying without thanking me, without giving me credit, without assisting me, despite the fact that I'm assisting them, without them asking, right? Because I like them, because I wanted to support Charles, because I wanted to support MDE, right? That kind of notion. They didn't ask me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure at some point they all expected me to ask them for help. Why should I ask them for help? It should be just a mutual thing where it's like, oh, Anthony, this guy AHP has this idea, and we're just going to use him and not help him at all. That's how these people are. That's how most of those people are. Most of the people I met, that's exactly how they are. In that whole circle, they're just users. You know what I'm saying? But so I hang out in there, and hanging around the Charles community, and being a part of that group, I was offered to be a mod, right? For whatever reason, I talked to James Price, and he told me something about, I was just there often, so they made me a mod. But I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. These people understood and saw potential in my ability to communicate, my ability to have a plan for myself, my ability to be open, be happy, be sharing, trying to stimulate people's minds, all this kind of stuff, etc. Right? I used to be not even close to as bitter of a person as I am now because of my experience being in a part of that community. My generosity, my openness, my friendliness with people, being in that community and the MDE community pretty much destroyed that, because people either were jealous of me, intimidated by me. That's really it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want me to be successful. They cared more about their own success, the way they looked in front of others, and so on. Right, so I become a member of the Charles community and a moderator for his Twitch channel. I was invited to a mod chat, right? I'm in the mod chat with about, I don't know, eight other people, 12 other people for 2 years, right? This is what I have a gripe about, really. It's like I told them my ambitions. I told them what I wanted to do with this channel. You know, I was giving money over years to Charles, right? He probably messaged me or like talked to me maybe like 3 to 5 times in the whole time I was like giving him money. He like, I don't know, just he ignored me. You know what I'm saying? I guess maybe I didn't give enough money to him or something, you know? But it's just like people right now don't even give me money, and I pay attention to them. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's about common courtesy. It's about having decency. You know what I'm saying? It's like there are people that have done absolutely nothing for me, and I'm going around and visiting them just because they were my friends or they were in the Discord with me and I enjoyed their company, you know. But so I'm in this community, I'm in a mod chat, you know, and all these people are like friendly with Charles. They all bend over backwards and support Charles, despite the fact that he doesn't deserve the kind of support that he gets, because of what I'm talking about. I'm in there and I'm saying, you know, I want to not while I was in the community with Tyler and all those people, right? I was talking about ego death. I was talking about spirituality. I was talking about Christianity. I was talking about the kingdom of heaven being at hand, right? I was talking about like people waking up to certain spiritual truths. You know what I mean? And before that, Charles was kind of just playing games. He was just playing video games. He was just doing his stream. He was like talking to chatters and doing that. And then after I started talking to Tyler Steadfast and all these people who must have been, you know, close to Charles in some way, right? Or they were in the Discord and they had people that were paying attention to what I was saying in that Discord, away from everyone else. You know what I'm saying? He started talking about those kinds of things, which he's completely turned his back on now. Apart from 6 years ago, 5 years ago, all the stuff he said, especially about ego death and spirituality, like what he's saying now, or at least his actions, don't align with the things that he said. And he continues to do that. And I'm going to be one of the only people that continue to point it out. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's like the things that I'm talking about on Discord, he used in his stream. The things that he knew I wanted to talk about to people, he used to use as talking points for his platform on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? And then when I'm talking about these things in that Discord, eventually I moved over to the Charles Discord and I'm placed in a mod chat and I'm telling him and all these people that can pay attention to the chat like what I plan on doing with this channel, which was making videos about like just titles and then expounding on those titles, and those things were going to be inspired by all the lectures that I've listened to over the course of my life. Now, as I'm there telling them about my plans, it's like now what Charles made a YouTube channel within the last few years that has exactly the formula that I had when I first initially started this channel. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that I told them that I wanted to do, they completely suppressed me. They had people in their Discord bully me and make me want to leave their Discord after I told them all of this, and then they used my ambitions without giving me credit, without helping me at all to fulfill the ambitions for this channel, and they use that for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like before all of these topical videos that Charles put out, I told him that's what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? He was making even before like Sam started doing all his advice stuff. You know what I mean? I'm sure they got wind of what I wanted to do as well, and they said, you know what, that's a good idea. We'll just do that ourselves. You know what I mean? We'll let this guy sit on Discord and talk to people, and we'll just pull ideas from him, right? And then we'll use those ideas, and then basically he's fucked. You know what I mean? Because he's gonna watch all of the stuff that he was talking about in Discord. We're gonna put it on YouTube and Twitch, and then, you know, it's gonna kill his motivation. You know, it's gonna make him not want to do it because he'll see that it's already done. You know, that's what these people's mindset are. I don't care if you believe me. It doesn't matter if any fucking human being believes me. It really doesn't. Because the only thing that matters is what's true and justice and God. And he knows what's true, and he knows what you people have done. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to pay for it. You might think there's no consequences, but one day you're going to be sitting there after something happens to you, and you're going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Now I understand the lesson. You know, I finally cleared my karma, and I understand what I shouldn't have done to someone who didn't deserve to have that done to them. People don't deserve that kind of treatment when they are naive and ignorant, and they believe in people, and they don't think that people are just gonna fuck them. You know what I mean? Over the course of years. But yeah, so basically I'm sitting in there talking about everything that I want to do, and then like day after day, you know, months after months, years after years of me just sitting and talking with his fan base and his community on Discord, and me just putting out constantly like different ideas, or I'm streaming on Twitch different lectures of things that I find important, and then next thing you know, this guy is sitting there talking about it on, you know, his stream. And now when he started the YouTube channel making topical videos, he's doing it in his, you know, YouTube videos. Like literally exactly what I said I wanted to do, right? He decided, no, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? There are even clues like I wish I had a compilation of them. I wish I had all of this stuff recorded, because it was right there out in the open. And that's how these sorcerers, these black sorcerers, do this shit. That if you listened or like read anything online about sorcery and dark magicians and people who use, they are vampires. They analyze the spiritual energy of a person. They transmute it and they use it for themselves. They take it and they use it for themselves, and they don't give any I don't have the word that I'm looking for. They don't give any acknowledgement. They don't give any kind of support, despite the fact that what I've done has supported them. Or there are people around that community that are using what I have said in Discord, and then they talk directly to Charles or directly to whoever they're in contact with, and then they use me to build up an esteem or build up a rapport or build up a reputation that was actually from me, right? But they have made it appear as though their ideas were their own, which is not the case. So eventually, like, I started to realize, you know, what was actually going on, right? And I started to criticize some of the things that Charles would say, because some of the things he says are trash, and he has no business saying that to people. And if he had the spiritual integrity that he pretends he has, he wouldn't be saying some of the stuff he says to people. But he doesn't. He's an actor and a comedian. You know what I'm saying? He's not this person that should be giving out spiritual truth, or being even encouraged, you know, to put out these videos about spiritual truth. But before, I was saying, like, there are examples of him Like, he wouldn't talk to me directly, but he would say things that he knew and I knew were between me and him, or the people that knew about us and our interactions, right? He was speaking to me through his streams because he couldn't speak with me directly. Because if he's spoken, they should call him Charles Coward. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't speak to me directly. And I know it sounds crazy, but these people don't, at least him, he didn't speak directly to me, because then I would have a record of him speaking to me. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. They do it out in the open. That's what I was saying. They do it out in the open. You know what I mean? They don't have private conversations with people, or at least at the time they didn't. They might be able to get away with it now because they're being supported and they have enough money to do it. But it's like, he didn't speak with me directly. He gave me, one example is like he was saying, read between the lines, right? If you can't do that, there's like nothing that can be done. Or like there's this one, like I'm keeping everything on the table. You know what I mean? I always keep things on the table. Which basically, it was like a word to me saying, like, if I provided, the certain, whatever he had in mind, right? And whatever I could offer and he could offer me, it's like he was keeping it on the table. It's like the offer still stands. It's like people, the average person wouldn't understand that kind of communication, because the average person is fucking retarded. Or they're morons, you know what I mean? Or they're not paying attention in such a way as I was. Or people that were invested in being a part of that community and supporting him as I was. To the average person who's looking for entertainment, they don't understand the kind of communication that goes on between people like him and people like me and people that were in that kind of... I'm sure there are people that can attest to this kind of experience watching his streams on Twitch. It can't only be me. You know what I'm saying? But when I started to catch on, and when I started to understand what was happening to me, you know what I mean? And how I wasn't going to be given support, and I was going to just be used, and I started criticizing. There's even a thing like that. He said on his stream, like, criticize me again. Because I was talking to some of his friends in Discord, right? And I would talk about certain topics, and then they would probably relay the message or what I was saying, or even recording me, because I've seen examples of these people recording me. You know what I'm saying? Especially at a time where I was like really miserable, I was drunk, people were egging me on, basically torturing me and abusing me while I was wasted, and then getting me to react to them, and then they recorded it as like, oh, we have this of you, you should feel ashamed, and we could use this against you. Basically, there was a time, I don't know if you remember, he was saying, there was a time when he was saying on stream, blackmail is real. You know what I mean? That was like a read in between the lines message to me, like saying, we have this information about you, we know, that you can act like this, or we know that you've done this, so we can use it against you. You know what I'm saying? It's like that kind of thing. They'll never admit to this. They will never admit to this because it's sickening. It is actually very sick. These people are fucking sick. They are black magicians. They are black sorcerers. They are imposter spirits. They use their fan base to incorporate their fan base and their ideas and then feed it back to them in order for their fan base to hold them in a high esteem, so they will be given money. Like, they're just vampires. They don't have anything original. Like, their originality, if anything, comes from the sketches and the different, like, raw videos, right, that they produced. It's the rawness, the authenticity of it that made them good, or at least the quality of their work good. And MDE and Charles are just dying out because they I mean, they are having people pay them to read their comments. You know what I'm saying? And then they expound on the person's comments because they lack the ability to communicate and generate information to the extent that they're presenting within themselves. So they need people to pay them, and they have it so where it's like if someone is paying them, right, they know that someone is giving money in order to have them pay attention to them. So it's like anything that people are paying to have them pay attention to them, they know they can then use to have more money pay to them. That's how it works. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's a disgusting. People that operate like this on the internet are actually disgusting, and they're not good, right? That's another thing. It's like think about it. Like Charles is all about Christianity now. And all about God now, but he wasn't back then. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like this back then. He's incorporating the fact that fans are more geared toward Christianity and using that as a presentation, right, to gain support and gain the esteem of people. And he probably has people that are communicate like I told him I wanted to make like a research-based community, or I wanted to find people in his community that would participate in the community that I wanted to build that was based on research, based on religion, based on comparative religion, and make content on a network basis where it's like people were putting out content because I want more people to talk about this, and I wanted to be about a community or part of a community that were like building something together in order to make content based on the kinds of things that I'm going to talk about, that Manly P. Hall has talked about, that UG Krishnamurti has talked about, that GD Krishnamurti has talked about. If you know those people, you'll understand what I'm trying to say, and you'll be able to understand more of like what my mindset was at 6 years ago when trying to build this channel and like be around people that I thought would help me do so because they could see my potential, but instead they use my potential, which is what I'm trying to demonstrate and say with all this, with this story that's true. Like I said, there was a stream recently where he's sitting next to his wife, and his wife was saying, there are times where she tells Charles something and he'll act like it's his idea. That it's just something that he does. I don't know if it's conscious or not, but it's something that he does. It's something that his wife says he does, and it's something that he's done to me. I can see it. I've seen it. It's happened. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if you believe me. You know, it doesn't matter. Like I said, any human being that believes me about this story, it doesn't matter. That's what it is. I gotta try to get back on track here. Paying people for reading comments, talking about God, talking about spirituality. Like I said before, like in the beginning of his Twitch stream, he was talking about ego death. He was talking about spirituality. He was talking about like comfort being an enemy. He was talking about a lot of things that I agree with, and he's turned his back on it. Like ego death, right? It's like he talked about that stuff, but look at his ego. You know what I mean? The ego of someone who is trying to get people to pay them to read their comments. Like, there's not even an open community. Like, you can't even afford to have open communication with people without them paying him. Or he was talking about ego death, and then now he has a show called The Palace, right? It's just like this person went back on so much. I wish I had all of the clips that show exactly what I'm talking about. Like, to break it down and really show you the clips of this guy and the things that he's said and then the actions that he's done. It really does show. No one's looking at it like I do. No one was in the position that I was in. You know what I mean? No one was in the mod chat that cared about me, right? That understands this or cares about this, or they know about this and they want to suppress this. You know what I'm saying? They don't want people to look at them or him like this, despite the fact that that is the way it is. Like I said, okay, back to what I was talking about, God, right? It's like the guy made, after being with MDE and making the content that he did, right, which is like world peace, or some of the videos that were on the MDE main channel, the first channel, after the show got canceled, after like there was a huge thing about like being politically correct or not bringing politics into, or being apolitical, when the show got canceled and they all like did their own thing. Like Charles was doing the Twitch thing. Like when he made the Discord, he was like talking about not being political and stuff. But it was all like what's called a limited hangout, right? Where it's like you have a place where people can go and you set certain parameters, and if they go outside of those parameters, you just get rid of them and you make that the standard. So if anyone approaches the level of understanding or the level of critique or the level of awareness that dispels, you know, that kind of environment, and it would make people want to leave because they ought to, you know what I mean? Because of the parameters that were set through that kind of environment, which was used as a way to exploit people, exploit them in terms of just, it's like a marketing, it's just like marketing. You got to think about it like that, or advertising. You know what I mean? It's like they took people, it's like people would like, it's a job, you know what I mean, for these marketing types of companies to figure out what it is that their consumers want to be provided with. You know what I mean? It's like people pay a lot of money for this, but content creators like these, they do it for free. These people are literally being robbed. No one can see it like that, or they don't think about it, because they want entertainment. They're just there to be entertained. They're like low energy, low frequency, just garbage people. They all they do is like, their lives are consuming popcorn. You know, their lives are just eating corn. You know what I mean? And drinking corn. That's what these people are. Like I said about God, right? It's like this guy wants to pretend that he's all about God now. And he started his Twitch channel with Good Charls. You know what I mean? It's like people that really understand Christianity and God through that lens, right? No one is good. No one is good but God. You know what I'm saying? No one is good but Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the fact that he tried to use his name and say Good Charles, you know, it's like to the average person who isn't an adept, you know, an adept at understanding Christianity, when they hear, like, all the Christians that can say they're good, you just deny them. They don't even understand Christianity. They don't understand the Christ. They don't understand the Lord. They don't understand the power of God. They don't understand God's goodness. You know what I mean? They just don't. It's that simple. People that think they're good for anything that they do, they just don't understand. So it's like, to the average person, it's like, after having their show gotten canceled, and rebuking, or publicly rebuking Sam. It's like putting his name as Good Charles. You know what I mean? It's to give people the false impression that he's good. People want to support good naturally. You know what I'm saying? They whatever they think is good. It's not actually good, but they want to support what they believe is good. So it's like you put your name Good Charles, right? Even his name Charles, right? Whatever joke, I have no idea why he does that, but it's like a corruption of his own name. You know what I'm saying? It's like every step of the way, in order to create a grand illusion, it's like you need to put little pieces and breadcrumbs of corruption in there in order for whatever it is you're trying to manifest. It's the only way you can do it. All the people that are up to no good know this, and they do it little by little every single time. It's like a spider casting a web. A spider casting a web is more innocent and more deserving of admiration than the people that do this. But yeah, it's like to present themselves. Even like the first year that I was in, after a while, like within the first year or two, I was only a mod for Charles in the Charles community for like a couple years, maybe 2.5 max, right? Because I started to speak out because I knew it was happening. You know what I mean? I knew exactly what was happening, and I still know what's happening now. And no one wants to listen. No one cares. No one's gonna care, really. That's why it doesn't really matter to me. It matters to me that I speak this stuff and tell people this stuff, so those who are under a spell can break free of it before they run out of time. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that really matters. Because, like I said before, the truth matters, justice matters, the consequences of these people's actions will matter, whether they think it will or not. And that's all of this truth is where I can rejoice. Okay? That is why I need to say this. That is why I need to let people know that this kind of stuff happens, right? I am an example of what to watch out for when you are an open-hearted, open-minded, considerate, very thoughtful person, very ambitious person, all these qualities which were in myself and still are in myself. You know what I mean? You have to be careful for people that will use you in this kind of way, because you won't see it until later on, and the clarity that you wish you would have at the moment it was happening will be put on you later, like it is now with me. And all the people that believe that he is good, right, in the comments, right, or the people that have word of mouth and talk about how good he is, even it is the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand goodness, so they look at him and they proclaim and assert in public goodness. I see goodness. It is good. You know what I'm saying? By completely failing to realize what goodness actually is. I'm so glad that I'm saying this the way it is, because this is the truth. You know what I'm saying? From my perspective, from what has happened, as it is, as it was, and always will be, this is the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. The only care I have for what people think in terms of all of this information is that, like I said, they are broken out of a spell of illusion. Like, my words about this stuff will dispel their hypnosis, them being mesmerized, right, by Charles, by MDE, by any kind of content creator that uses these specific methods in order to cultivate ideas and inspiration for content that they would otherwise not have at the expense of other people. That is what I'm trying to eliminate. That is what I'm trying to dispel. You know, I have nothing, absolutely nothing to gain from talking about this at all, personally. You know what I'm saying? I don't. If anything, this is taking away from what I want to do with this channel. But it's that the people that were around me at the time of being in that community are subscribed to my channel, and they know of me being around that community, and some of them know what I'm speaking about very well, and they will never speak of it because they are cowards and they can't admit to truth. They can't admit what happened. They need that stuff to be suppressed. It is a requirement for them to succeed, to be prosperous, because that is the method that they use to do so. And when it is revealed in that kind of way, it is destroyed. It is darkness, you know what I'm saying? And when the light hits it and people can see that light, it's destroyed. Okay. Even now, like, here's another example. This recent politics stream, you know what I'm saying? Everyone is just having a good old time. They think it's fun. You know, they're just having fun watching politics, watching the map. It's like he had 2,000 something viewers at a time, where he usually gets like 200 to 500. You know what I'm saying? It's like this guy years ago was telling people politics is fake. Don't pay attention to it. Don't pay attention to the news. You know what I mean? And he needs more viewers, and he needs more people to give him money for the lifestyle that he wants for himself, which is not an egoless lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Which is not a selfish or a selfless lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It is about the accumulation and acquisition of wealth for himself and his family, and for those who are closest to him. It is not anything good. It is as simple as that. Oh, man. That's what I can't believe people are going through this. I know I'm not the only one. There's got to be people all over the internet who have someone that they look up to and give money to and support, and in a clandestine way, they're being used and exploited. You know, it's like the fruits of their intellectual prowess, the fruits of their commitment to caring about the world and the environment in which they live to such a degree where they can intellectualize and share their experience in a way that allows people to change their way of thinking or change their way of perceiving, that improves their ability to reposture their attitude and their life to the circumstances which they find themselves in. These people are being robbed of the fruits of working in such a capacity, and they might not even know it or understand it, or they're being enslaved by it. Even that is another example. There was like a time early on, right, where it's like I'm watching a VOD. I've said this before. I'm watching a VOD on Charls' Twitch channel. There's about less than 35 viewers. You know what I'm saying? It was really early on. It's like he probably had like a small network and group of people, right, that knew exactly what they were doing. They saw what I was doing, and they just tried to stay one step ahead of me every single time. And it's very easy to, when, you know, I'm one person, you know, with speaking these ideas to them it's very easy to manipulate and control one person who has no friends and who is seeking validation, seeking friendship, is seeking praise, is seeking encouragement, is seeking all of these things that I felt like I needed in order to be successful with creating what I had in mind to create 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's like after all of this time and this process of being part of his community, it's like even now, you know what I mean? I should have more people who are aware of me and willing to help me and willing to work with me in order to create something that actually helps people. You know what I'm saying? These people saw that in me and they were like, you know what? We're just going to help ourselves. We're going to help ourselves to him and those ideas and use them for ourselves. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what happened. That's always going to be what happened forever. There are probably even useful idiots. There are these people called useful idiots, right? Which I guarantee they wish they could have made me that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call them vampires. They have familiars. You know what I'm saying? They have people that are mesmerized by being in contact and being held in some esteem, some in some regard they are held to esteem, that they are in contact and part of that community. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a vampire and a familiar. If you don't know what that means, it's like a vampire will hypnotize someone to do their bidding. You know what I mean? And this person becomes just a vessel for their bidding, whether that be some kind of intellectual spying, right? Some kind of like research gathering. You know what I mean? Some kind of it's just a useful person that gets nothing in return and is just, all they get is like the small thing that they are appeased by, and they don't even realize that they deserve more. You know what I'm saying? I realized I deserved more, and that's why I was bullied and outed. You know what I mean? I was called a bug. You know what I mean? Despite not having any online, you know what I mean? It's like these people speak out about bug men and people who are online all the time. You know, it's like that was my first real experience of being in an online community. But it's like these people have probably been doing this years before. You know what I mean? That is how they operate. It's like all the people that, even memes are like this. It's like they take a representation of something that's going on in the real world, they make an artistic representation of it, then they put it out in public, and if it hits, and they get the rewards of it, despite it being a caricature of someone else. You know what I'm saying? Instead of these people being helped, they're mocked, openly. I said that before too. These people are a den of thieves and mockers. Which, look it up in the Bible. Go to Google right now. Thieves and mockers, Bible, and you'll have the sentiment that I'm talking about. A lot of this stuff that I've talked about in previous videos, and even now, it's like if you have a biblical reference point to some of the things that I've said, you'd be able to more fully understand what they are about, what they're actually about, and what they're doing, how they're operating. You know what I mean? It's like this everywhere. It's not just them. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling them out for it because that is what they deserve. That is what I can do. That is what I've seen through my own experience, and I don't wish that upon anybody else. But yeah, so the politics thing, it's like he had like 2,000 views or something at a time, right? And it's like he's coattailing the election, despite the fact that years before he was saying you shouldn't even pay attention to this stuff. You know what I mean? You should. I can't say it any more clear than that. You know what I'm saying? But they're sitting there having an election party. You know what I mean? They're having a party, watching what they said we ought not to watch. And people giving them money. You know what I mean? Because they're just having fun, and they want to support what they think is good, despite the fact that it's not actually good. I wish I had more examples. I know there are more. I would need to have them in video clips. You know what I'm saying? I wish more people knew about this, or like talked to me about this, because it freaks me out like all of the time. It's like I'm now living a life that did not have to be, if what ought to have happened to me and the care that I should have received was denied, you know, for some personal gain, some lack of integrity, like these kinds of things. Like I don't deserve to feel alone all the time. I deserve more fans. I deserve people encouraging me. You know what I mean? I deserve more friends. But it's like they took that away from me by the way they treated me, you know, which is with negligence, which is purposeful, purposeful neglect, purposeful suppression, purposeful bullying, purposeful closed-mindedness with the intention of personal acquisition, personal gain, selfishness. Even now, Eric Hayden, you know what I mean? He has this channel about his construction stuff, which that's great, man. You take nature and you pave over it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of making, you know, an abundance of food or creating land that is like filled with the ability and capacity to produce fruit, right? You pave the world. You know what I mean? You pave the world. These people paved earth. They made it dead and desolate. And they will continue to do so until they destroy themselves. Until they're on their knees worshiping the Antichrist, which is practically what everyone is doing today. But he has the nerve, right? And these people have had the nerve for years to call human beings gods. He has the nerve to call his channel Construction God. It is a mockery. You know what I'm saying? It is a mockery. They're mocking God openly for their own personal, egoistic expression and presentation to gain support from people who are idiots. Straight up morons. It's that simple. Like I said before, I'm useless to these people because I will hold them accountable. You know what I'm saying? This is my way of holding them accountable. And they will be held accountable to a further extent and degree, you know, than I could even provide. These people don't deserve the admiration that people are giving them, and it makes me sick. Because these people are wasting their lives and their energy, which I've done to a greater degree than them. And I have more empathy for them than they do for me. These people are deluded and sick and sad. And I'm not saying that to degrade them. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that because it's like a lot of people think I say this stuff because, you know, I don't know, I'm like a nasty person, or I'm bitter, which I'm bitter, but I'm bitter about a lot of things, which I'm going to make a video about. I have every right, you know, to be this way. So again, I don't give a damn what you think. I'm not going to be moved. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be moved. I've been moved enough. What else can I say about this stuff, man? What else can I say about this stuff? I'm just waiting for the day that this guy is revealed to be the kind of person he actually is, and I'm waiting for people to wake up. You know what I'm saying? This is like I'm waiting for like people to wake up to that fact, and I'm also waiting for people to wake up to the fact of what's going on to a greater extent. You know what I mean? This kind of stuff is minuscule and so insignificant, right? Compared to greater realities that I wish people could wake up to. It's as simple as that. They know this. They know how I feel about it. It's more of a reason why they wanted to suppress me or bully me or make sure that I don't want to be around them, you know, and their people, because I break illusions. I see through illusions. You know what I mean? I see through people. I read people like you wouldn't believe. You would not even believe. Sometimes I don't even believe it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I can't even believe my own intuition. It's like the more I've gone through these traumatic experiences, the more I'm able to do it. The more I can see people's motivation and understand why they do the things that they do. At the expense of the comfort that I would feel in this world, right? Which is good, which is actually a good thing. Because that is what God is doing through people. They're living at the expense of themselves and their comfort in this world in order to provide people with something better for their own. He's not providing anything like that. You know what I mean? These people that think he is don't understand anything. If anything, compared to some of these people that I've met online, I'm lucky that I've been graced with the level of awareness I have about these matters. You know what I'm saying? It's not even me. One of my friends was telling me people are like jealous of like the lifestyle I'm living now. There's no reason to be jealous. Trust me. All that is an aside. All that matters is I'm just getting this out in a clear, cool-headed way, in a way that people would be able to understand. I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say. It's been an hour. You know what I mean? I think this is enough. If I have to reiterate this or say this stuff again in a different way later, and I'm inspired to do so, that's what I'm gonna do. But I just got to keep living my life and doing what I have to do to survive. That's it. That's all I got.